The Conversation Motivational Hour with your host, Minister Seon Rodney. The Conversation. Thank you for watching the Conversation Motivational Hour. We love you and cannot wait to see you in person.
Good night, each and every one of you. Welcome to the Conversation Motivational Date Night with your host, SGGR Seon Rodney. Welcome.
Tick, tick, boom. Tick, tick, boom. Like a time bomb. Tick, tick, boom. Like a time bomb. Like a time bomb. Lord, we need more of you. Lord, we need a Holy Ghost revival. Everywhere, people crying out. They're crying out for more gospel. It's only the power of the Father could stop you from going down there. It's only the word of God have the strength to stop you from going down there. But the way some people they're living look like they're going down there. So we're setting the word all over. We're setting the word all over. Yes. Explode in the place like a time bomb. Just like a time bomb.
Good night, each and every one of you. Welcome to the Conversation Motivational Date Night. You're rolling with SGGR Seon Rodney.
In the place, like a time bomb, just like a time bomb. Tick, tick, boom, explosion, healing in your body. Tick, tick, boom, deliverance, take over your body. Tick, tick, boom, the Holy Ghost, fire in your body. Setting the word all over, we're setting the word all over. And let me go, link up with the gospel grenade in hand. We're traveling through the land, young girl, woman, boy, and man. We feel the shake when it leaves we hand. Even when it hot like lava, I'm not leaving a setting a timer. Got to let the whole world know that Jesus Christ is the King.
Hit the share button. As equipped with the Mawara, Barbies, Caribbean country, Caribbean islands, South America, North America, Latin America, Central America, continent of Asia and Africa.
Only the power of the Father could stop you from going down there. It's only the word of God that is trying to stop you from going down there. But the way people living look like they're going down there. So we're setting the word all over, setting the word all over. Yes. Explode in the place like a time bomb, just like a time bomb. Oh Lord, explode.
Hit the share button. It's the Date Night with SGGR Seon Rodney.
In the place like a time bomb, just like a time bomb. Tick, tick, boom. Explosion, healing in your body. Tick, tick, boom. Deliverance, take over your body. Tick, tick, boom. The Holy Ghost, fire in your body. Setting the word all over. We setting the word all over. Explode just like a time bomb. Yeah. Explode in the place like a time.
You gotta follow the link, bro. Bye.
Bomb, just like a time bomb, yeah. Explode in the place like a time bomb, just like a time bomb, yeah. Explode
Yes, it's a Conversation Motivational Date Night with your SGGR Seon Rodney.
in the place like a time bomb, just like a time bomb, yeah. Tick, tick, boom. Explosion, healing in your body.
Hit the share button. The
Holy Ghost, fire in your body.
Let's give it the Mawara, Barbies, Caribbean country, Caribbean islands, South America, North America, Central America, Latin America, continent of Asia and Africa. Happy birthday to all those who celebrate a birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Boom, like a time bomb. Tick, tick, boom. Like a time bomb. Like a time bomb. Lord, we need more of you. Lord, we need a Holy Ghost revival. Everywhere, people crying out.
Happy anniversary to all those who celebrate anniversary. Congratulations to those promotion on your job, increase in salary, bring a bundle of joy into this world. While we're waiting our guests tonight, we're waiting our guests tonight, we're waiting our guests tonight.
It's only the word of God have the strength to stop you from going down there. But the way some people are living look like they're going down there. So we're setting the word all over, setting the word all over. Yes. Explode the place like a time bomb.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Good night, Apostle J.D. Prasad. Good night.
Good night, Pastor Seon.
Well, you know, I gotta put myself in a relaxed mode. I know sometimes I always in the attitude of holding my mic in my hands, but I'm gonna go freestyle tonight while Ajay is making his way into the studio tonight. Once again, welcome to the Conversation Motivational Date Night with yours truly, SGGR Seon Rodney. I have with you tonight, my co-host is no other that Apostle J.D. Prasad is making her debut tonight on the Conversation platform. People were hearing about one of the affiliate of the Conversation Motivational platform, which is called A Conversation Together We'll Rise Ministry. Well, tonight, the pleasure is mine for me to let you meet for the first time, and certainly it will not be for the last time, Apostle J.D. Prasad of A Conversation Together We'll Rise Ministry, which is located in the Mahaica-Maikoni region in the great country of Guyana. It's Catherine Mahaica-Maikoni region, which is located on the East Coast corridor of the great country, Guyana. With that being said tonight, Apostle, would you like to introduce yourself? Get yourself relaxed. We are a great family. This platform, we are a lovable people. Our mantra is value. You're onto the value platform, the trusted place. With that being said, let's introduce yourself to the platform tonight.
Good night to all our viewers. Good night to our family. A conversation together we will rise ministry. To Pastor Seon, thank you very much for having me on this program. It's a privilege to be here. As Pastor Seon said, we are a family in Christ. So to God be the glory. Great things He have done. I know that you're gonna enjoy us tonight, and we will have a grand time tonight. So be with us so we can all rally around each other tonight.
Great. Awesome. 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 And that is Apostle J.D. Prasad of the Conversation Together We Will Rise Ministry. We have one of our members trying to make his way in. RJ is trying to get on. I don't know if he have a little difficulty in terms of joining us while he will make his way. We will start our segment tonight, and he's going to come right where we start. With that being said, Apostle J.D. Prasad, tonight we want to talk about care enough to follow the pain to bring about a change in the life of people. But before we get there tonight, I want you to share your testimony tonight, one of your testimony with the audience tonight.
Well, tonight I want to say that I grew up or I born into a Hindu home. I was raised as a Hindu person until I was 9 years old. And when I was 9 years old, we had a Sunday school not far from us. And I always hear the people are singing and clapping and stuff like that. And so one day I asked my mom if I could go to the Sunday school. And she said, sure, why not? And I'm grateful that at that time, my mom did not look at the religion. You know, that said, well, okay, because you're Hindu, you can go to Sunday school or stuff like that. So she said, yeah, sure, why not? You can go. And so I went over to the Sunday school at 9, and I continued to go to the Sunday school and I started to encourage myself in God at a tender age. I love what I saw because I see the glory of God in Sunday school. And so as I get older in life, um, I back away a little bit from the Sunday school and I was in the world. And I think that going back, you know, into the world at that time, I was 21. I went and I partied like about 3 to 4 years straight. I never drink the alcohol or the, smoke the cigar, but I was a party girl. I love to dance. And then being in the world for such a long time, one day I went to a party at a place called Belladrum, and the disco was Coco Cabana. And right next to Coco Cabana, there were a church there that the people were singing and clapping, and they were enjoying the presence of God. And so I said to my friends, and I said, listen, I am going to church tonight. And they began to laugh at me. They said, are you going to church, Jay? And I was like, yes, I'm going to church. And they were like, I'm glad to see you go to church. But back in the days, you're slim, you're young, and I had on a very short dress. But I said to myself that the word of God said, render your heart and not your garments. And so I left them and I walked in. I went straight into the bottom house. And I'm grateful for the pastor was there. She was a woman and her name was Pastor Joyce Moses. And as I walked in, she welcomed me. And I went up in front and I sat there. And before I leave, she said, listen, the world have nothing to offer you. Why not give your life to Christ and stuff like that? So I began to go to church on Sundays, and not only go to church, but I began to get, involved not only in the worship or the praise or the good things, but I begin to like help to clean church, begin to help others. And from there, God began to use me even up after 28 or 29 years. I'm still here going on with Christ.
That's the Apostle J.D. Passad. That's the Apostle. Let me tell y'all something, man. She went and get her hair done for tonight, all right? Y'all don't
No,
mess,
I did.
y'all don't mess, y'all don't mess with the Apostle, She went and she looking lit for you tonight, all right? Yeah, that's the Apostle of the Conversation Together We'll Rise Ministry. We are a fun people. We
Yes,
have
we are.
we have place and time we're gonna be serious, where we're gonna reprimand. We have time where we're gonna give instruction, but most of the time, we take time to know each other. Because the word of God
Mhm.
says you got to know those who labor among you. And I want to tell you sometimes 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, you can't find me because we are on the phone having fellowship,
Yep.
right? Me,
Hmm.
Apostle, and Ajay, we're like the three musketeers. And I will tell you something, audience. It's important to know who you are laboring with. Not only their spirituality, we talk about the family. I get to know about her husband without even meeting him. I know about her daughter, even meeting her. Because I want to know if I'm giving leadership and guidance, I need to know not only you, but your environs. Then Ajay, his mother, I know her without even meeting her. I can't wait for a good or go to her duck curry when I come to Guyana and some good. I want to tell you the dal and rice with head olive though, not callaloo, head olive. You understand? And I met his sister. Without meeting his sister Anne Marie and his little brother Sean, I know all about his family without meeting them there yet. Because when I meet them now, it's going to be an easy transition because there's so much we can start a conversation. I don't care about your spiritual life only. I want to know your environment. I want to know when you're up. I want to know when you're down. And the reason I get into contact with Apostle was a moment somebody's just moved to get the feedback. yes, Ajay is you. When I meet a person, it's because of Ajay. You
Yeah.
understand? Ajay is like my
Mm-hmm.
son, and we get past on. So you don't hear me say no, my spiritual son anymore. Then Ajay is like my brother. We don't say brother anymore. I just say Ajay because as people evolve, you got to respect the evolving, and you got to change the relationship code. So now Ajay can come to me, call me anytime. We talk of anything, and then he said, Pastor Seon, I want you meet this woman. This she need your help like now, now, now. And at the time I met Ajay is one of the lowest point in his life. We need to
Amen.
understand God call us that
Mm-hmm.
we may able to look beyond ourselves
Yep.
and look to follow the pain of others. We have to care,
Mm-hmm.
follow the pain to bring about the change. Man, there's sometimes I just call me, I left this service past the preaching. Sometimes convenient, I just say, grab before I run outside. I have to attend to my brother.
Mm-hmm.
Those in my congregation is already saved. They're good. They know the song we're singing. They're going to write the notes, the pastor preaching. But my brother right now need me. I will run
Me.
out and I say, Ajay, give me all in 5 minutes. I go back into the service. I'm going to call you after. And I'm glad to know that I give him the guidance. And I see this young man has come into a refined young man. I tell him I'm talking a lot of married talk with him, but he does ignoring me. I'm telling him by the end of the month, we're going to find him a nice young woman and he's going to be a great husband. I will assure you that. I have seen the transformation. I have seen
Mm-hmm.
him evolve. He's a hard worker. He
Yep.
is a businessman and he works
Mm-hmm.
himself
Mm-hmm.
skillfully, genuinely, and sometimes I think this guy asked him a friend, somebody, you take the picture for them people think and send it to me. He said, no, I didn't. So neatly done. And he put some of his work into the house of the Lord. And that is what is unique. He didn't only
Amen.
satisfy now his skill set. Why overcome my hurdles, overcome my challenges, overcome everything that going on in my life. I am good now. I don't need nobody to. I came to church no more. This man put his direction to the place he was helped. Use his skill
Mm-hmm.
set to redefine the work of God. And I love his family. I love Apostle family, and I'm glad the support system. They're not all together. I'm not presenting to you tonight a great family. Every family have a
Mm-hmm.
little bit of flaws. Some of
Yep.
us have a little more work to do, and we need your
Mm-hmm.
help to get our family where we should be. Our family is not
Mm-hmm.
perfect. Our family is not perfect. Trust me. Matter of fact, I am not perfect. If you're
Mm-hmm.
looking for a perfect Sian, not this one. Look over his shoulder, look around, not this one, kind of not perfect. If you're looking for a perfect Apostle JD Posada together with Rise Ministry, look
No.
somewhere. You're looking for a perfect brother Ajay from Metameza, look somewhere else. But we are
Mm-hmm.
evolving and we are striving every day to be better. Ajay, my brother, my friend, my bro, say something tonight, man. Say something tonight. I know you went to get a haircut like Apostle went to get your hair do. Yeah, I understand. Get her nails done to a rat cafe. She said, I'm keeping my nails. So let me hear. Um,
Oh my. You guys have to tell people that all of that,
You remember
man.
the Hard Rock Coffee good though?
yeah, man. Here. There's one thing about CR. Me is what you see, is what you get from Monday to Sunday. You're not gonna see me
Mm-hmm.
one home person, see me one church person, and see another person at my job. I can't
Yep.
do that. It's too hard for me to do. I ain't that smart.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna be me all the time. So let's hear from Ajay.
Uh, Good night. Um,
What are you
well,
nervous about? A sensing the nervousness. Let's drop your guard down. We good.
it's not about job, but like it's so much to talk about. I don't know which side to start from, but we got like I say, got start from the beginning, right?
All right. Let me help you where
Mm-hmm.
to start from. Start from where I understand you went and had some shiny food just now. Start from there.
No, it's actually KFC.
KFC. All right, start from there. But anyway, let's hear from you tonight.
Okay, well, it's about my life story, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I actually grew up in a Christian home. My mom was actually a Christian, so I actually grew up in
Mhm.
church and those things as a little boy growing up, no Christ. And well, teenagers running towards God. At the age of like 11, I started to teach Sunday school, and then I go in youth group. And I was like, majority of my life when I was a young boy growing up, like it was all about Christ, Christ, Christ. Nothing else I focused in about, but
Mhm.
only Christ. Like there's nobody else who can take me out from that. And when I started to work at Gaisuku, and that was like in 2020, I was working in the office, and young guys too, no? So I saw this
Mhm.
girl and I decided to like fall in love. You see, a person is already laughing,
Yes, we listen. Yes, we listen.
right? And
I'm in love.
they say like what? Love at first sight, no?
Yes.
So
Mhm.
when I met this girl, I was like, she gotta be the one, right? But it's not what we say too. It's like what God say, right? And if He said no, well, it's no. And I just like turn a blind eye on that, and I go ahead and do what I had to do. And I started to like date this girl and those kind of things. So I get married. Like I met this girl in March and I'm married in August. And
Wow.
yeah, it's
Mhm.
like, to be honest too, my parents they did not agree on the wedding and those kind of things. And I just do it like what you could say, disobey. And I go behind their back and do what I had to do because I was under a pastor as well. And she told and tell me that I cannot sleep with a girl because, I'm Christian and those kind of things. So I go and I marry the girl legal. So when I do that, I live with this girl like, you know, for 3 years, but for
So
2 years,
before we go further, so
uh,
basically, you might to have legal sex.
I wouldn't say it that way, but like I said again, um, when I first met this girl, she was like everything to me, right? Like,
Okay.
and I figure out like this girl gonna be the one that I'm gonna spend my life with, but I was totally wrong,
Okay.
right? So, and like I said again, the first time I married, the first year was amazing. Everything was going well. Everything was nice when I was living with her alone. And we decided to move with her mom. And you know what they say, come see me, can live with me. It's two different thing, right?
Yeah.
And when I done when I done do all of that, for the 2 years more that I spent with this girl, I don't think that nobody wanna live in hell, right? But I
Okay.
guess I even live in hell, right? And I cope
Mhm.
with it because it was too shameful, like for tell your parents then what was really going on in your life, right? And
Mhm.
it's not for me. I might probably say it this way, but a lot of young people should listen, and especially to them parents or elder people. If they say that is wrong, please do it. Check, make sure it's
Mhm.
the right person you get yourself involved with, right? And like when I'm married to this girl, like I said, I grew up in a Christian home, and this girl was Hindu. So what do you
Wow.
think happened after that? I forget everything about
Like
Christianity
Christ.
life,
Mhm.
right? And the point is what I get in at, right? To tell you that despite how far you try to run, right, God will always find you and bring you back to, like I say, bring you down to your knees, right? And
Mhm.
by doing so, she was Hindu, so she was like, no, she don't want to turn Christian and those things. So like I said again, love, right? You could do anything for that. And by doing so, for 3 years, it reached a point in life that, God had to say, it's time for this to finish. And one day, when I get to figure out that for 3 years I lived with this girl, but never know that this girl had a 9-year-old child too. And when I
So,
asked about it,
wait.
there was no more.
3 years you lived with this woman, and she had a child, actually
Yeah,
a young human being. That 9 years,
correct.
3 years living, or you didn't know she had a child? No trace of it.
Never know.
Apostle,
No trace of it.
wow. Continue,
Mhm.
continue.
Right? So when the neighbor figure out that I'm, too easy for this family, so she decided to give me a hint, and when I go and find out from her, you know, she did cannot stand that to know that I'm gonna figure this whole thing out one day. So if anybody asks me like what really causes this divorce or me and this girl to separate, right? I don't really have a positive answer on it, but it just happened just like that. Just like that, she just want to say she want out of the marriage and all kind of things. Started to, like go back to she parents and put me out and all kind of things she did. And when it comes to law in Guyana here, oh God, I face it a lot with her, right? For all kind of things she bring, like if any little thing, because we got a child together too. So when I asked her to see the child, she used it, restraining order and all kind of things. So one day when I go there, from that day it's sure police, 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 police. Like every single thing is just police for her. And when I did not agree on the divorce, but it happened. And the point is, I just thank God that whatever happened, it happened for a good reason,
Yep.
I love
right?
this.
Mhm.
And the
I
good,
love this young man's story because this young man's story is on the pulse. Apostle,
Yep.
I've been from the inception of this young man, and I just listening to see how he can still in his mental place to corroborate his story. I was from day one, and I could tell you as a chaplain, I even know I use a pastor, you have to exercise patience. And this young man take patience out of me. Out of all clients I ever had, this particular one take a lot of patience out of me. Because I've seen he fall from 10 straight down to 2.
Mhm.
On the day of that wedding of this young woman, this young man talking about, I did it FaceTime because I could not travel to Guyana for the wedding. I pray, I give him a blessing, and I give him a few words, give them a few words of blessing.
Mhm.
So I have seen, and as I tell you, sometimes this young man called me, I'm in service. But I put the soul in front, right? And I've seen this young man fall from 10. I don't even want to say it too. Many people do not make it out of their situation.
Yep. That's true.
And I'm not taking side. I spoke to the young woman because I called the young woman my daughter. So I was so from day one. But to see who had the bad end of the stick as a parent, it wasn't easy.
Yep.
And I had no one I can think, because as pastors, we can tell your story to no one.
Truly.
I have to deal with Ajani's story as me, myself, and I.
Mhm.
No one else. And sometimes I go to sleep and I'm saying, I wonder what's going through Ajay mind right now, Apostle. One
Mhm.
Sunday, his mom called me and said, she never says a pastor. She said, see, she never called me so yet. And she like this boy, like this is it for you today. I just like,
yeah,
Apostle, I can't get a plane ticket.
I know.
I can't fly. I can run.
Mm.
I went into service and I'm saying, how can I help this? I call until I get, when I hear his voice, I say, well, life is still this possibility. Ajay, I want to tell you tonight that God have a great purpose for you.
Yes, he do.
And the purpose that God have for your life, the world can even itself is broad enough to contain. Because you have the horizon ahead of you. The Bible says youth
Hmm.
are the strength of his kingdom. You have youth on your side. You are smart. You have a skill set. You have a craft. Also, you even have a
Yep.
funny side of you, which can bring good laughter,
Truly.
joy to people's life, apart
Mm-hmm.
from ministry. God
Yep.
have greatness upon your life. And your experience as work as it could have been is still yet. God have the greatest part. When God finish polish the thing, it's better than a table that you will lock up. When
Yes.
True.
God finish polish the thing, you can get tail from Africa and see the sheen in Guyana. That's what
Mm-hmm.
God does with people's life. I'm coming back to you, Apostle. Over to you tonight. Then we come back to Ajay.
Well, I want to endorse what Ajay said. Um, I met Ajay. I knew Ajay mother before Ajay because I was the apostle for a church in Parika.
Mhm.
And Ajay mom and Ajay and his wife were there at that time. I think they have just left and just make back up. No, they didn't left. They left and Ajay came. And I said to him at the church, I said, listen, God is saying to you that this person is not right for you. You need to move on. You need to get your life together and stuff like that. And I pray with him and his family and they leave. And like few days after his mom called me and said, oh, you know what? Ajay gone right back with his wife. So I said, all we can do is pray. And so we keep praying. And like I think it was 3 weeks after, I was coming from the deliverance service from Parika, and his mom called me on the phone, and she was like, you know, Ajay's at the Lenora station. Now I never went to station before. I never get encounter with no police or anything like that. So I said to her, I said, listen, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna come. So I stopped on the road and the mom came out and we walked in back and happened to see Ajay sitting on a bench. And while he was sitting there, he had the young lady one side, Ajay was one side, and there was a back and forth, you know. And so I said to the mother, I said, listen, I can't stay because I have to come all the way up to my Goni. So I said, look, ask them if they want to put this child on the bail and, let us get him out and stuff like that. So they said they're going to put him on bail and we helped in whatever way we can and we leave and I leave and I come away. But I am saying all of this to say this to young people, as Ajay said earlier, you know, when you're young, you think different. You tell yourself you know it all. You went there, Pastor Sion. I
Yes,
went there because at 21, I used to tell my mom, look, I grew up in a strict home, very strict home, even though my parents was Hindu. I grew up in a strict home where we couldn't be on the road at 6 o'clock. You can't lose down your hair like how I have my hair loose down. You couldn't wear straps, you couldn't wear short pants, stuff like these things. So you grew up real strict. But as you get of age now, I remember telling my mother one time, said, look, I'm a big girl now. You can't tell me what to do, you know. But I live to regret those words. You understand? And I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to tell my mother that, you know, I'm sorry for the things that I couldn't backtrack my mother. I would say things are far away from her because, you know, some bell no or some belt or something coming behind you or some grate or something coming behind you, you know. At that time, parents in Guyana, you couldn't backtrack them, you know. And as Ajay said, we need, and I'm speaking to our young people here because in the church, a conversation together. We will rise ministry in catching my coney. I met with a lot of young people, not only the boys, but the girls also. That you know what they think that the world out there has so much to offer them, but when they reach out there, that is when Satan use and abuse them and then kick them to the curve. You understand? And so when you get kicked to the curve, you know, that is when you realize that, look, where am I? All the world is doing is abusing me all the time, you know? And so, Ajay, you know, when Ajay said that, listen to your parents, it's a good thing. I'm not saying that parents is right all the time, but sometimes when parents talk, we need to take a time out and listen to what they're saying,
I
or an
think
elder.
before you get a fan on, you get a fan on, right, Ajay?
No, maybe it is. See, I don't know. Hold on, I can use it.
Yeah, the AC is blowing into the, yeah. Continue, Apostle.
Yes. So sometimes when you talk to young people, they would say, well, you had your time, you know,
Yeah.
now is my time. One young lady that said to me, your time was water time, now is gasoline time. You just scratch a match and it burn, it go, you know, but what they fail to realize that the enemy come to steal, to kill, and to destroy, but God come to give life and life more abundantly. You understand? And so I always tell myself that um, we we the ones that need not to condemn our young people like Ajay. When Ajay get locked up and so on, I started to keep a close eye on him. I begin to call him on a daily basis. I begin to pray with him. I begin to encourage him. I begin to talk to him. Um, should I be honest with you? Did he listen to me all the time? No. There are times when I feel like he must tell himself, what JD Passat think, man? You know, but he come to realize after a while that listen, I need to listen. I need to take a check of my life. I need to listen to what people are saying to me. And today I want to encourage our young people. Please, young people, listen. You just
But
have to listen.
Apostle,
Take a moment.
so, something unique happened. And we need the audience to deal with this unique thing that happened, right? We give leadership and guidance to Ajay in the worst time when he was broken and stuff like that, right? But
Mhm.
let the audience see how God have a great sense of humor. Pastor Carol, you're gonna hear this. Deaconess Christiana, Chaplain Christiana Jackson, you're gonna hear this. For those and many on the live stream, I will call those who I see that is making comments in the comment section. Apostle, let us understand that night when Ajay reached out to me, what go on in your life when Ajay turned around out to be a source of strength to you. Talk to us that night. Now I will never
Good.
forget.
Yeah. Well, myself and Ajay, we become very close, like a mother and a son, and we will chat. Now, I I do a lot of ministry. I was an evangelist for many years, and I remember like being under pastors and bishops and apostles, you know, different people gonna come from different um country, and they would say to me things like, you
Joshua,
cannot,
thank you for tuning in. Continue, I'm listening.
that you cannot be under leaders because there's a lot of jealousy, or there's a lot of envious feelings. um to be honest with you, I never wanted to be a pastor, because I thought that being a pastor is a very hard job. So I prefer to be an evangelist. Pastors invite me, I would go to the church, I would light a fire, I would pray out, deliverance will come, people would get healing, people would get touched by God, people would get saved by God. And I felt good because when I reach home back, I have nothing to worry about, I have no responsibility, you know, just reading the word and praying and stuff like that. And I happened that I opened a church under a leader, And he came and he asked me to open a church where I'm living. I was living in Tobago for 15 years. My mom passed away. I come back to stay with my dad. And I, myself and my husband and my daughter, we do Bible study with the leader. And he gave us certificates.
Mm-hmm.
And happened that the church was going as normal. And because of somebody began to get jealous of what was happening in the congregation and what was taking place, they decided to spread a set of rumors. And the leader that I was under, he called me in a click of a finger because they sent him some kind of innocent video that
Mm-hmm.
I was dancing. Um, that we were three ladies sitting there the night in one of the woman home. And while we were sitting there, one of the girls says, she was a DJ back in before she got saved. And I said, man, I was a dancer. I used to dance soca music, hip hop, whatever music you think of, I would dance. And so she said, well, then show me a piece of dance that you used to do. So I said, okay, no problem. And she was playing some kind of music, and I began to dance. I didn't know that all the time it was a setup that they video this thing and send it back to the person that I was under. And then, Pastor Sion, I never drank in my life alcohol. I'm not an alcohol person. I never smoke cigarette. They send him some empty bottles, claiming to say I drink from that. They claim to tell him that they were in my home, which in my home I open to everybody. People can come, myself and my husband, we taking kids from all work of life. Whether you're Indian, whether you're black, whether you are Amerindian, whether you're Chinese, we take you in, we mind you. If you can, I myself, I went into strip clubs. I took out people children. I went into drugs house. I took out people children, bring them into our home. If they don't take the education, we would send them to school that would teach them a trade and stuff like that. So we always have kids in our home. We always take children into our homes. And so they claim to say that they were in my home and that they saw a lot of rum bottle and stuff like that, I don't know anything about that. And so he called and he said, listen, I cannot be under him anymore. Let me take down the signboard. Let me give him back myself and my husband, my daughter, to give him back our credentials. And it was a whole rigmarole story. And I was pastoring a church for almost 1 year at Parika on my own, where I didn't take no salary. I never take a salary from the church in Parika. And even up to now, a conversation together, we will rise ministry in Catherine Maiconi. I don't take a salary because I feel the gospel is free. And so I used to go every Sunday for 9 o'clock, preach, and come back to my Coney for 2 o'clock to have service. I used to go every Thursday to Parika, have deliverance service, and come home back. I do all of this on my own with no strings attached to it.
So,
But people
so
people
Apostle,
start to say a lot of things.
Apostle, I want the audience to hear this tonight. Joshua Love, I want you to hear this tonight. Pastor Carol, Deaconess Christiana Chaplain, soon to be Christian Counseling. I want you to hear this tonight. This is a woman of God. And everyone know me, you play with me, make any joke with me, tell me anything. We're crazy off the title. But when it comes to God, work, and God people, I draw the line. There's a difference, Seon. Right? This woman was doing the work of God. The church was growing. The church was growing. And a friend or person said, let me tell you something. Envy and jealousy is real. It's real. But forget about all of that. The man of God in a drop of a hat, give me back my certificate. Take my signboard down in 5 minutes.
Mhm.
A certificate is a paper with some ink.
Yep.
Take my signboard down in 5 minutes. I run from covering anybody. I don't do that. A lot of people call me. I make recommendations to other pastors. I tell myself I don't want to cover nobody. I just like what I do and I don't want much responsibility. I come social media. If I get 5 view, 3 view, 1 view, no view, I happy. Me ain't gotta worry nobody. I sleep and I good. Right? But there was something when Ajay called me that night.
Yes. Yes.
And I turned and I said, Ajay, I don't do that. I must send people to
Mhm.
Pastor Kwesi, Pastor Gavin. I send them to Pastor Ram. I find some pastor. I said, go and let those people cover you. I am good. I am not doing that. Tell me what they say. I look for feedback. Say the feedback ain't good, I send it to somewhere else. So I said, Ajay, I don't do it. No. Ajay said, Pastor Seon, please, look what you do for me. You got to hear it. The moment this woman of God came on the phone, I could not have keep that, whatever I said to myself. I had to do something about it. I'm hearing a pain of a woman selfless behind this brokenness, what God is saying, not knowing this woman raised about 7 people, children in our home, send them to school. You can see she's an East Indian, and the 5 of them is black Negro. Forget what she did. This. Look, I just get riled up when it comes to the souls of people. Who knows me? I'm very serious with certain things. And this woman left broken. And here the Spirit of God says, see, you got to do something about it. I went home. I didn't sleep. I rest. I call Ajay, thinking about 3, 4. I can't remember what time is it. I said, Ajay, I want you to do X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z. I don't know how you're going to do it. And this young man leave his financial job, put his shoulder to the wheel.
Mhm.
You see how the script was flipped? Everybody has a day. Forget about your title. Care tonight to follow the pain for someone that you will bring about. The apostle went to the prison. He went to jail. She went to the prison to visit this man for the first time. He turned around, got to be a source of encouragement to her.
Yes, because
Help.
I could remember when I called him and I said to him, and at that time we had about the church had about 80 to 90 members. And I said to Ajay, I said, Ajay, I am finished.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to close this church. I'm going to tell the people to find other church. And he said, what kind of craziness you're talking about, mom? He calls me mom. So I said, I'm very serious because I was that hurt. My family was that hurt because, to know the sacrifice that we made. And, the church was keeping on the shed that we had a big shed. We never take money for the light bill. We never take money for anything. We supplies everything for the church, like cleaning the church, everything we do. We help the church more than the church help us. And when I told Ajay, he said, Mom, you cannot do that. And he said, listen, I know of someone that I could call that you can talk to him and this to get this work going. And I remember some of the members of the church came to me and I said to them, I said, this is it. I am finished. I am done with because this is not the first time. All my life, being under pastor, I was living in Tobago for 15 years. And under the pastor, when I went there, um, We went to Grenada and so on, Suriname and preach. And, the people were favorite of me. And so they had a problem with that, and sorry to say it this way, but you know that when you're a Guyanese, it's a whole different story, it's a whole different scenario. Then when I went to Parika, I was under a bishop there too, an apostle. It was another fight down. And so everywhere you go was a fight down. So I think I had enough. I had enough. My family had enough. Pastor Sion, I have a daughter. And I remember leaving my daughter and go to preach the gospel. And my husband would plait my daughter here, sometime going to school, or plait would twist on one side because mommy is not there. And, she would still go to school with that twist plait. And I could remember one day when I came back from a trip in, I think it was Grenada. And she was like 5 or 6 years old. And she looked up at me. I was guilty. Let me be honest with you. I was so guilty to know I'm leaving my daughter with my husband to go and do ministry. But then she looked up at me and she said, Mom, I'm so proud of you that you can go and you can touch life and you could help kids. And remember now she's seeing that there are other kids in our home. She see that, we are bringing in children. She see that we are feeding them, we are clothing them, we are sending them to school. So she had a fair understanding that, look, whatever mommies and daddies doing is to help others, to build each other's up. So when I told Ajay all this thing and so on, Ajay said, no, this cannot happen. And their member in the church said, listen, Apostle, even if you close this church down, we are going to come here and sit in church, whether on Sunday morning, whether on Wednesday when you have, we're gonna come and sit. We're not going anywhere. We're not going to no other church. We are staying under you. And one member said to me, she said, Apostle, if it's 5 of us, we're gonna work and let God have his way. I am more than grateful for Ajay and you, Pastor Sion, because Ajay did went. He helped me to get, my paper GRA, where we could have come, up with a name of conversation together. We will rise ministry. And I'm grateful within 9 months. Within 9 months, Pastor Sion, within 9 months, we have built our own church. Within 9 months,
God.
we had people coming in the church like rice. People come. Every church have its issue, every church have its problem. It's one thing that when you correct believers, despite of their saying that they are believers, they have a problem. People want to take the world and bring it in the church, but when you stand up for God, you have a lot of opposition. But you know what, I always said, when I was in the world, I was a one-man soldier, and I come to Christ and I would continue to be a one-man soldier, because as long God is leading me and directing me, I am gonna flow with that flow.
Yes, that's awesome. And I want to let you know the conversation together with Rise Ministry. I want to tell you we have our own building. Yesterday, I was privileged to see the guys there painting the zinc, the roof,
Yeah.
right? We hold nobody. We have no loan on our building, by the way.
No.
But I want to tell
Mm-mm.
you something, the uniqueness of it. And the same thing, let me tell you something, man. You can't beat God's sense of humor. And I said, Apostle, what will you do with these souls?
Yep.
And they said to me the same thing. Pastor, see, I welcome to them souls. He says, well, welcome to them people, brother.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? I make a decision on the spot without talking to my apostle, which I'm under his leadership.
Mm-hmm.
So much I was riled up. Men and women of God, be careful how you treat the people that are entrusted in your care. I make an executive decision on this spot. And today, we are entering into our own building, debt free. We are caring for souls ever than before. I
Oh.
want you
Mm-hmm.
to understand tonight that there is go through your process. What is your process to your progress? Imagine if this woman as how she was depressed, how she was treated. What have happened to those souls because of one person's self-aggrandizement? Oh my God. I look at the intercessory team. My heart is thrilled of what it would have been. No intercessory team. I look at the broken. Now I even can't get Apostle how I used to get her any time of the day. We huddle at 9 o'clock at night. First time 7 o'clock. But what? Everybody is calling her. What would have happened to those souls? My con is not a financial basket of Guyana.
No.
God do the miraculous.
Mhm.
Ajay is in catching Mike, is in Metamesa. There's a great distance. We cannot understand the uniqueness of God. This young man was so broken. I tell you, I'm in service and I hear his mom say, first time she called me C, because who called me C is like my mom. my mother called me C. Right? But she said, see, I think I did drink pies and I think he's done. I ain't got time with service, but it's the soul. But look what God has evolved. I ain't think even diamond, gold can compare to this precious soul that he turned around, that as church was built from him. He went and get the paperwork. He did, this young man did everything.
Yep.
He even get upset with me because I say, buddy, my name get a O, my name get a N. I want it this way. And then Apostle, sometimes I say, Apostle Carl again, buddy, and we were both on this young man. You know what? He stood to the task. I remember Apostle was concerned what people could say together, conversation will rise. Church, what people could say, the people looking for the blood of Jesus, they're looking for soul, something. I said, Apostle, we ain't thinking about people because this story is unique. And still yet we are attracting soul. Ajay, tonight, talk to the people for where you are and where you come from and to help somebody tonight.
You know, by listening to this story, like, it has just gotta make me laugh because I can remember, you know, going through all of these things. Um, Pastor Seon used to say a word. One day we will sit back and chat about this thing and laugh about it, right? You can,
I'm back to chat here.
yeah. And like that day, it actually come true a day like today, right? Because well, look how we sit here, we end up chatting about the whole thing, like what happened, right? I know, yes, you guys explained most about it, but like I said earlier, right? Everything in life happened for a reason, right? And by doing all of that is for not for me, but God point out people for at the right time to set people in place to do certain things. And like I said, when I married to this girl for 3 years, I did not know God. I forget about him, forget he ever exists. That is why I tell any young man, right? Whatever happened in their life, it has happened for a reason. Do not question anything. On a day like today, yes, I go attempt to kill myself. The roof, I used to go up there and say, oh, that's it. But something always stopped me. I always come down back. I would be like calling Pastor Seon, bothering him, and I call Pastor Seon, and I get your call Apostle, you know, and we would talk till 1 o'clock and so in the night. And by all of this, right, like I said, it's happened for a reason, you know. It happened for a reason. And the point is what I'm getting at and tell anybody now, for that 3 years back, what happened, right? I didn't have no regrets or anything to look back on for that 3 years. Because if someone asks you now what happened, life is much more better than then, you know. I can go where I want, do what I want. I can call on God anytime. I can call, you know, I can do stuff. I can be a man of, you know, for myself. And you see, with everything we you two talk about just now about apostle and the church and so, like I said, you see what happened? It happened like again, I can say it again. everything happened for a reason.
Yes, and I want
Yeah.
to encourage you. Gigi, what's up, girl? Long time I see you. Good night to you. Everybody show Gigi some good love. Yes, but nevertheless, I want you to understand. It's a line those who are familiar with me would know. I say the things you cry about today, you're gonna laugh about tomorrow. The things
Yep.
you cry
Mhm.
about today, Apostle, you're gonna laugh about tomorrow. Christiana put Romans 8:28, and we know that all things work together for good for them that love the Lord,
Of the Lord.
all according to my purpose. In my dilemma, in my down moment, I tried to commit suicide myself too. That scripture is my favorite. Not giving all the rest of scriptures no credit, but my favorite scriptures is Romans 8:28, and we know that all things work together for good for them that love the Lord and are called according to His purpose. I tried to commit suicide too, but I didn't die. When I lie, I remember lying on my back and looking, my belt is on the hot water tank above my head. Oh, Jesus. Then I recognized what I was about to commit suicide. But the thing we cry about today, the thing we cry about today, we're gonna laugh about tomorrow. Cassandra, what's up? Yes, that's your favorite. Yeah, but I want us to understand tonight. Let's care to follow the pain to bring about the change. Let's care for each other. Let's care to follow the pain of someone. 5 minutes would not take away 5 hours
Truly.
planning someone's funeral, where 5 minutes can cause the person to live and to enjoy the life that God has called them to. Because you don't know when your time is going to come. It's all well and good with you. You have all the lights, have all the money, have the greatest right, the great home, and everything. You got the great family. But you don't know in a twinkle of an eye, things can turn. And the people that you need today, that you turn from today, is who you're going to need tomorrow. I'm going to close
Tomorrow.
with this note. On Saturday coming, we're going to have Apostle J.D. Prasad back with us on Saturday, and Ajay also on Saturday. We're going to continue this Saturday coming. But I want to close on this story tonight. This neighbor, this guy, he had a neighbor, and she always sees into our neighbor yard. And every time he complains, there is no regret, right? But she always showed face in the neighbor yard. But it came a time that she fell sick. And when she fell sick, she was hospitalized. The neighbor took a bunch of roses for her. And she was so happy that somebody bring rose for her because no one come and see her. And then she tell the neighbor, you didn't have to do all of this for me. I just put your mic because they thank you. Yeah. And she was so happy that this neighbor bring roses for her. Right? And she asked him, she said, man, why you buy roses for me after all that I do to you? I didn't expect you to come and see me. And the neighbor says, these are the roses that grow from the feces in my yard.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight, I want us to ponder as we go through this week with this on our minds. Be careful how we treat people. They may be the very person that we may need tomorrow. We hear tonight of Apostle went and see Ajay never went to the station, and Ajay turned around to be the catalyst and the source of our help.
Mm-hmm.
It's important. It's very much important for us to treat people simple how we want to be treated. That's all. It's not hard. I want to be treated royal, treat somebody royal. You want to get blings, treat somebody like they are bling. Treat people how you want to be treated. Tomorrow night there is a great Caribbean Gospel Jam. There's a great podcast called Speak Out Breaking the Silence by CJ Christiana Jackson. You are encouraged to go and to support her. It's a platform, Apostle Ajay, where people can go and share their story. if you are raped, if you are domestic violence, if you're going through trauma, you're going through rejection, you're going through abuse, you know, of you're the recipient of child neglect. Christiana Jackson is on tomorrow with Speak Out, Breaking the Silence. That is our podcast. Pastor Carol Roberts have a church in Brooklyn. I don't know the address off my hand. They have a prayer line. I call it the marathon prayer line. I never see people pray for 3 hours straight nonstop, but it's growing. Can you, Pastor? Can you put the prayer line number into the chat, please, that people can call on tomorrow morning to join the prayer line? I was privileged for the first time on Saturday. As busy as I was, I barely had 5 minutes, man. I tell you, these people can pray though. Because I finished and they were still praying. They were still praying. But prayer is very important. So, Pastor Carl Roberts or Christiana, can you type in the prayer line number? I'm gonna wait 2 minutes before I close the podcast down. Someone can get the number, they can join the prayer line. And I want to encourage you to download Caribbean Gospel Jam. We have great programming. We have different pastors, different ministries, a 24-hour gospel station on the radio station. You can download that series, going to help you. And we want to make sure that we are a community people. Any other pastors online, you can type in the name of your ministry. You can type in your prayer line. You can type in wherever you're located. I believe in the communityness. I don't believe in conversation together. We realize is the only bomb that come. I don't believe that we are, but we're not the only. I want to tell you, man, we are a community and we are growing. Our main job on this earth is simply to care, follow the pain, and bring about the change. So if in the Myconi, in the Catherine area, Myconi, you're in Bat Settlement, you're in Tri-Spay, you're in
LBI, Mandripo,
Mondripo,
Belladron, Litchfield, Golden Grove, Anns Grove.
Mizar. Yes, you come, you're gonna feel love, you're gonna feel cared
Be
for,
blessed.
and we gonna give you the best that you can get. Apostle J.D. Prasad, alongside yours truly, Seon Rodney. Once again, we want to thank you, Cleveland Ali Quinn. You come in late, my man. Minister Cleveland Ali Quinn is one of our ardent supporter from day one, the mature mixer. This is my brother. He will call me Apostle. JD will call me Pastor Carol and Christiana. Minister Cleveland Ali Quinn, he will call me at least once a month. Sometimes just to say, SGGR, you're doing a great job. SGGR, and we give you one or two little, and that means a lot to me. That means a lot to me because he always check in, and we need some time from time to time. We're not superhuman. We need some time for people to just make sure that they encourage us. And I just want to thank each and every one of you for what you have done for the Conversation platform. And together we Rise Ministry, we are cutting our ribbon in the Easter weekend. I'm still working on my ticket to be there. Nevertheless, technology we will probably get a TV in there and I preach on the street or whatever it is. But we are cutting the ribbon and we're giving God the greatest of glory and the greatest of praise for what He is going to do in that building. We are dedicating the building to the community. We are dedicating the building to the community and to the glory of God. Souls is going to be saved. Demons going to be terrified and horrified because Apostle of Deliverance Ministry, I'm a deliverance ministry. I'm telling you, it's going to be, I'm telling you, they just open a can of worms that people going to be free. People going to be delivered. We're going to do things in that area. Can anything good come out of Catherine Myconi?
Yes.
Then
great and mighty things.
We're coming back to Meta
Great
Mesa.
and mighty things.
And we're gonna do some work again in Meta Mesa.
Yep. We coming.
We coming.
We coming, Najee. We coming.
We coming. And each and every pastor tonight, I want to thank you for your labor of love to your flock. We want to thank you, every congregant, to your labor of love to your leader. Support your leader, the work that the leader is doing, and more so, care for someone, follow their pain to bring about the change. Once again, have a great and productive evening. Compete with no one else, but be the best who God has called you to be. Have a great night. Apostle and Ajay, can you stay in the green room for 3 minutes, please?
Mhm.
Don't come off.